All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning. It's or afternoon or evening, wherever you are. Welcome to another Sessionwire Live. I believe we're live on Facebook and YouTube. So welcome to everybody. Drop your name in the comments. Say hello if you're joining me. Tell me where you're from. Today, we are diving into Ableton Live alongside Sessionwire. For all you Ableton power users, this isn't a deep dive into the Ableton functionality. This is strictly around, Sessionwire and getting started with Ableton Live. So you might learn something here. If you do, again, drop a comment in the comments box. Let me know what you think. Let me know how things are going. And hey, Raul, good to see you. Okay, well, without further ado, we're going to jump into Ableton here. So let me pull up my desktop, main monitor. There we go, I think. Let's try that. There we go. Okay, so here we are in Ableton. We're going to go over a couple of quick settings just to make sure that, we get Ableton set up for working with Sessionwire. Holy smokes, we got people coming in here. Joe, hi from Winnipeg. Home province. I'm from Brandon, Manitoba. So nice to see somebody from Winnipeg. You up? Ricky, Vancouver. Good to see you, Ricky. Neil from North Vancouver. Hello, hello. Nils from Germany. Wow, sitting in a train. Awesome. Good to see you. Fun fact, a few months ago, I was flying to PEI, which, if you don't know Canada, I live in Edmonton, which is about 12 hours from the West Coast, and we flew all the way to the East Coast, which is about a 6-hour flight. And in the middle of that flight, I connected with one of one of my coworkers at Sessionwire on Sessionwire in the middle of a flight at 30,000 feet. So, Nils, you're on a train. Sessionwire will work for you. Richard from Tampa, good to see you. Scott Cook. Is it Scotty Chops? I think I know who you are. Good to see you. Spelled wrong. Yeah, Vancouver. It'll do. I understand. Andrew, hi from Los Angeles. Hello. Wow, lots of people joining in from all over the place today. For everybody watching, if you haven't signed up for a free Sessionwire account, please do so, www.sessionwire.com. If you send me an email at support@sessionwire.com during this live stream, I'll go back and look at all the emails. I'll send you a coupon for 20% off an annual subscription for a year. So, yeah, please send me an email, support@sessionwire.com. Include the email address that you signed up with, and I'll make sure you get set up with that. Yeah, Scott, good to see you. Heard all about you from our mutual friend, Travis. NB Mitchell from Nova Scotia. Wow, Nova Scotia. Hello. Macon. Is it Macon? Like Macon? Or is it Macon? Like bacon? Or is it Macon? Not sure. Bob, good to see you. Here we are. We're in Ableton. Last week was Logic, so I'm going to get in Ableton mode here. Here we are in Ableton. So, again, this isn't like a deep dive into Ableton functionality. That's not what this is about. This is about getting set up with Sessionwire. And the principles that I'm going to kind of go over in this video apply to, any DAW, really. There's differences in busing and routing and things like that, but that's why we're doing different streams for different DAWs each week. You can go back and visit the Pro Tools video and the Logic video that we've done previously on our YouTube channel and our Facebook channel. We're answering questions on those still too. So if you have questions there, feel free to post them in the comment section. You can also just send me an email, support@sessionwire.com, or you can visit the website and use the little chat bubble and have a live conversation with me. During business hours. I'm usually really quick to respond to things when I'm not on the road. Hey, Brendan. Hey, I don't know who that is. It only says Facebook. So, hey, here we go. Okay, Ableton. So a couple of things just to kind of go over really quick. If we go up to live and preferences, that will bring up our audio preferences here. In the audio tab on the left-hand side. Oh, Kevin. Yes. Everybody, Kevin, co-founder of Sessionwire, has joined, so he'll be hanging out in the comment section on Facebook by the looks of it. If anybody has any questions there, I will also answer them here, but he might chime in there. So here we are. If we go to the audio tab on the left-hand side, we're presented with all of our audio options. If you're an Ableton user, you know all about this. As it pertains to Sessionwire, you don't need to change anything to do with the audio devices, the input and output devices. Those should be set to your audio interfaces. So again, in any other DAW, you don't need to change anything to do with your playback device or your input and output devices. If we go into input config, we can turn on and off all of the inputs that are available to us. We can also, label them kick in, kick out, etc. If we so choose. I'm just going to hit cancel. Same thing with the outputs. We can turn inputs and outputs on and off. The sample rate, we can work at whichever sample rate we want. We've designed the Sessionwire plugins to be compatible at any sample rate in any DAW that takes AAX, VST3, and audio units plugins. So we'll notice in Ableton on a Mac, I'll have audio units and VST plugins available to me. On Windows, that will only be VST3 plugins because audio units plugins are Mac only. The buffer size, you can work at whichever buffer size your computer can handle. I've got mine set fairly low. If I'm tracking drums, quite often I can get down to 128 samples when I'm recording, through plugins, just for a little bit of processing for the person on the other end of the call. But you can work at whichever you want. Obviously, mixing, if you got a heavy session with lots of plugins, set your buffer size as high as it'll go to avoid any kind of audio dropout or sample rate issues. If we go to plugins, we can turn on and off our audio units plugins, our VST2 plugins, and our VST3 plugins. So if we don't want to see the audio units plugins on our computer in Ableton because we already have the VST3 plugins on our macOS, we can just turn off the audio units plugins. We can also designate custom folders if we want a folder for, you want a folder with the Sessionwire plugins in it by themselves. You can select this custom folder and then turn that folder on. pretty standard kind of plugin management stuff. And that's about it. That's all we need to do in Ableton. Just kind of go in there, make sure your settings are appropriate for your session. Again, don't change your audio devices. You don't need to do that. So I've got a session here. It's just some drums that I've recorded, no processing on anything. It's just a demonstration session. So we'll notice that if I hit play in the session, nothing is really going to happen because I'm not connected to anybody in Sessionwire and I don't have any of the Sessionwire plugins in the session. So you won't hear anything. I'm playing the session and nothing is happening. So we'll head to the Sessionwire app here, and just for clarity's sake, I'll minimize this. This is the Sessionwire application. We're going to just double check a couple of quick settings here. So if I hover over the remote side the local side of the Sessionwire app, I get these 4 buttons that pop up. And the leftmost is a little microphone. This is our Talkback stream. This is exactly like any video software like Zoom or Google Meets. We're going to set this up exactly like that. The only reason you would want to use our plugins for Talkback, which we'll get to in a minute, is if you're running like a Pro Tools HDX system, or you don't have a webcam with a microphone built in like this. This is a Logitech C920, a really affordable 1080p webcam, and it's got a stereo mic, I think, built into it. So you don't need to use our Talkback plugins for anything unless you need to, is essentially what I'm saying. So we'll head into this menu. I'm going to pick the microphone. I'll select, it's already selected in my default. I'll reselect it. And there we go. I'm seeing now my voice show up here because this microphone is plugged into channel 1 of my audio interface. So I've selected my audio interface as my microphone, and I've also selected the audio interface as my speaker. So if somebody were to speak to me through Sessionwire, I will hear them straight out of my audio interface. No DAW needed. So I can connect to somebody in the Sessionwire app without any other software open and start speaking to them immediately. The next button over is a camera selection. Any camera device on your computer. I'm using it's like a Sony Alpha 6100 with an HDMI capture card plugged in. So pretty crisp video. The last button on the right is the Sessionwire HQ audio stream button. And this is where we can select the source of the stream on our computer and the destination of the stream coming to us on our computer. So this is how Sessionwire defaults. It defaults to the Sessionwire Send plugin as its source on this machine. So if I put the Sessionwire Send plugin somewhere and audio hits it, that audio will end up in the Sessionwire app going to the other side of the connection. And on the flip side of that, I've selected my audio interface as the HQ audio destination on my machine. So if somebody were to stream audio to me, it comes out of the Sessionwire app and goes straight to my audio interface so I can hear it immediately. Now, this is great for like mix reviews. If you don't want a client to have to do any kind of setup, they would download and install Sessionwire. They don't need to touch anything in the stream, and they'll hear the audio come out of their default system output. We have some updates coming in the near future that clients won't even need to touch the app or download or install anything, but we can kind of get to that down the road in the stream. Once again, welcome to everybody joining the stream. My name is Brendan Lyons from Sessionwire. We're just kind of going through a quick setup for Ableton Live and Sessionwire. I'm currently in the Sessionwire app just doing a brief overview of things. If we go to the right-hand panel of this stream, or of this app, sorry, we have 3 tabs here when I'm not connected to somebody on a call. The Community tab allows you to search for somebody by display name. So if I search for Robin, our founder and CTO, he's got quite a few test accounts here, but I can select his account and send him a connection request directly in the app. This is similar to like a Facebook friend request. They have to accept it, and at that point they appear in my contact list, which will be here under connections, and I can search through my active connections that I have by their display name. I can also invite somebody by email. If I typed in somebody's email address, like, I don't know, my own, my other account, sessionwire.com, if I hit send, it'll send that person an email. As soon as they click accept invite, they're automatically added to your connection list, and they'll appear in the Sessionwire app and on our website. If you go to community.sessionwire.com, that's where you manage your account and everything. So a few ways to connect with people in here. I'm going to place a call to Dan Smith really quick. This is my test account on my other computer. So I've clicked his name and I've clicked call, and I will accept the call. And here we are. I'm connected with Dan Smith. We can see here that I'm a Sessionwire artist. That means that I'm upgraded to our paid added features. And Dan is a creator, so he's on the free plan. Though, at the moment, I'm upgraded to the paid plan and he's not. But we both still get all of the features at the same time during the duration of this call because I'm upgraded. So only one person needs to be upgraded to get all the features at this moment. You can upgrade to the artist account by visiting the little session settings menu, go to community, and go to my account or my billing. Either one will take you to a page where you can kind of manage things and you can upgrade. Speaking of upgrade, if you don't have your free account yet, go to www.sessionwire.com, sign up for your free account during this webinar, and send me an email at support@sessionwire.com, and I'll send you a code for 20% off an annual subscription for a year. So I'll be keeping an eye on the emails through the day. So that ends tonight at 11:59 p.m. So get on it. That's March 23rd for anybody that tries to get it afterwards. Here we go. Back into Ableton. Now that we're connected in Sessionwire, we're going to do a quick test receiving audio from the remote side. So this is kind of that mix review setup. If I wanted to hear a mix coming from the other side, I don't really need Ableton open. I'm already connected with Dan in Sessionwire, and my HQ audio destination is set to my audio interface. So if I get Dan to play some audio, there we go. I just have to. Oh. My little playback device on the other computer is having a difficulty here. Let's try this again. Incoming call from Dan. There we go. And if I get Dan to play something here. VLC player. Nice. Try this again. It's classic. As soon as I need something to work. There we go. Okay, so, mute that. Thumbs up if you could hear that in the comment section. That audio was coming from the remote end of the Sessionwire connection and had made it all the way to my computer, to the Sessionwire app, and went straight from the Sessionwire app to my audio interface. I haven't set anything up in Ableton yet to be able to hear anything. So that's a really easy way to kind of set up for a mix review and stream things straight out to your client. You just have them open the Sessionwire app and it defaults to their system output. Pretty easy, right? Yeah, thumbs up from Kevin. Awesome. Okay, so back to Ableton here. I want to be able to stream audio the other way. I want to stream it to the client on the other end of the call. So I'm going to go to the left panel here, open it up, and head to the Plugins tab, or Plugins menu. I'm going to navigate to Sessionwire. I'm going to find the Sessionwire Send plugin, and I'm going to drag it right onto my master channel. In this case, I'm in arrangement view. So right onto the master channel. And here it is. We'll open up the plugin. This is the Send plugin. Joe got it. Awesome. Neil Bell got it. Okay, awesome. So if I play audio now, we're going to see signal show up in the Send plugin meters, and we're going to see it show up in my HQ audio meters in Sessionwire, which means I'm successfully getting it into Sessionwire, and as long as the person on the other end of the call has their end set up to receive it and hear it, we're all good. So we'll play this really quick. Done. That's it to be able to stream audio to the other end of the call. Send plugin on your master fader if you want them to hear the entire mix, right? And you'll notice that when I hit play in Ableton, this M on my Talkback microphone, my Talkback channel, went red. So we have an Automute feature here that we can turn on and off locally and remotely. So we can mute this microphone on playback or the incoming Talkback audio on playback as long as we have one of the Sessionwire plugins in the DAW. It sends a trigger to the app and mutes the Talkback. So one more time, I'll play in Ableton and we'll see this Talkback stream go red and the meter stop working. Check, check, check. Hello, hello, hello. Excellent. So you probably still heard me anyways because I'm going out to YouTube and Facebook Live. But the other person on the other end of Sessionwire wouldn't hear me. They would just hear the DAW audio on its own. I'm going to flip to session view really quick in Ableton. I find it easier to do routing and things like that in this view. I'm going to show you an alternate way to set up streaming from Ableton or any DAW really, and it's similar to a headphone queue setup. So we're going to create a return track. I'm going to label it Sessionwire Send, and I'm going to put the Sessionwire Send plugin on this instead. So I've taken it off the master fader and put it on this send. So if I hit play, nothing is showing up in the meters yet because I actually have to send it on an individual track basis. So this way, you know, kick in, kick out, snare top, snare bottom. Right? So you can kind of set up a custom headphone mix for somebody on the other end of the call this way. I find it a little bit tedious. I prefer, much prefer to just send the entire mix. Whatever I'm hearing is going to go to the other side. So I'm just going to kind of reverse what I've done here and put the send plugin back on the master fader. Done. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Please put them in the comment section. I'm more than happy to answer them as we're going. If you're new to the stream, please say hello. Drop in your name, where you're from. There's people from all over the world here today. Los Angeles, Florida, Vancouver, Germany. Somebody on a train in Germany watching the stream, which is really cool. We're just going through Ableton, setting up alongside Sessionwire, a couple of different things that you can do. I'm going to show you now how to bring audio into Ableton from Sessionwire in case you want to record the remote side coming in, though we recommend all of the recording be done on the performing side of the call and Sessionwire be used for monitoring, if only to save you from the internet dropping out in the middle of the perfect take, right? We also know that a lot of people use Wi-Fi, and that's fine. Sessionwire works with Wi-Fi, but you might find that, sources of interference could cause audio dropouts. Somebody turns a microwave on upstairs in your apartment building. Somebody's using radar outside of your house. That can kind of interfere with things. So we recommend Ethernet over Wi-Fi. To bring audio into Ableton, I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. This is basically like a stock Ableton session. I've got my drum tracks here and a couple of returns and a master fader. Can the Talkback mute be overridden during playback? It can. You can override it while it's playing, open it up. You can also just choose to, turn it on and off here. So if I don't want Talkback on during a session, I'll just turn both of them off and I can still play the music and talk over top of it. It's good if you're using headphones. You want Automute really if you're listening to things through monitors. You're blasting music through monitors. I should mention that the Talkback stream has echo suppression and noise cancellation on it, so you can listen to the Talkback through speakers and have no problem. There's no risk of slapback or echo like some other video communication software. Bringing audio into Ableton. I'm going to create a return track. I'm going to label this one Sessionwire Receive, or Sessionwire HQ Receive is probably more accurate. So on this return, I'm going to insert the Sessionwire Receive plugin. Okay, so now it's living on that return. I'm also going to go to Sessionwire and I'm going to change the HQ audio destination of the app to the Sessionwire Receive plugin. So now if I hit play, or if Dan hits play and streams me audio, it's going to show up here in his meter in the app, and it's going to show up here in the Receive plugin, and it's going to show up here in this Receive track. We're also going to hear a problem really quick. And we'll see if you can hear it here. So here we go. Okay, so anybody hear that problem? Throw that in the comments too. What did you hear? I think I tried this last week, and the delay in the stream is too long, but so I'll just kind of keep trucking ahead. Type in what you heard. I hope that it came across through the stream, but what you should have heard is a delay. And that delay means that Dan would be hearing his stream coming right back to him through Sessionwire, because I'm receiving his music in the Sessionwire app, the receive plugin, and the receive channel, and it's going straight out the master fader, audio 2 is set to master, which has the Sessionwire send plugin on it. So I'm basically bouncing his audio right back to him through Sessionwire, which is not ideal. If he's set up to hear what I'm streaming to him, he's going to hear an echoed version of what he's playing to me. So Ableton's pretty slick, because all we need to do is change the audio 2 of the receive channel to external out 1 and 2. Done. So now it's going to go straight out my output 1 and 2 and skip the master fader. So if I get Dan to play again, Dan, play some music. There we go. It's going straight out my outputs. I don't have to worry about any kind of bouncing back to him that way. It's pretty slick. Niels, talkback dim instead of mute. Yes, that is a great feature request. If you wouldn't mind, anybody who has feature requests, please head to support.sessionwire.com. There's an article in there about feature requests, and there's a form you can fill out. That helps us keep track of which features users actually want to see right away. So that goes for anybody watching the stream. Support.sessionwire.com. There's a feature request form there. Please fill it out. We're all about making Sessionwire what our users want. That's really how we can keep going. You know, how we can push forward. What do you want in the app? And, you know, Talkback Dim, yeah, great feature. It's a pretty minor one. We're looking at some pretty massive features coming out in the next few months here. Can't really talk about it too much, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes. So, yeah, please put it in the form. That helps us keep track of everything really clearly. Okay, now we're bringing audio into Ableton. If I want to record that audio, I'm going to create another audio track. I'm going to label this Dan's audio. I'm going to set the audio in of this track right here, Dan's audio, the audio in. I'm going to select the Sessionwire HQ receive return that I've created, return C. So now, whatever's coming into this receive channel here is going to go straight to this Dan's audio channel. And if I record arm this thing, I'm going to flip over to arrangement view and find a blank space here. I should be able to hit record. It's now recording, and if I get Dan to play some audio. Excellent. So we kind of recorded that sample, and because this channel is not in monitoring mode, it's off. I'm not listening to it right now. I can't, how do I explain this? Ableton, there's a couple of monitoring modes. So if I flip to auto, that means that I'm going to be hearing what's coming into Ableton through this channel. I don't want that. I want it off because I'm already hearing it out of this channel right here, external out 1 and 2. So Ableton's kind of branching the audio coming into this channel through the receive plugin to my external out 1 and 2 and to this track right here. I don't need to hear this one and this one. That would introduce some phasing issues, or if it's perfectly in phase, it'll be double the volume. So we don't really want to do that. Oh man, lots of comments here. Let me get to these really quick. Niels, computer audio is much louder than my talking. Ooh, okay. Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe I'll trim that back a little bit. Is it dealable right now? Can we deal with that for now? If I don't talk while we're playing music, I'll make some tweaks for the next stream. Bob, me and my wife operate a free audio school for kids, and 3 are unable to attend class. Currently, they have to schedule DRs right at the same time the person is paid. Can we currently switch between students if they are at different locations? Can we currently switch between students? So just like calling a student, hanging up, calling the next one. Yes, I mean if they all have Sessionwire accounts and have the app downloaded and they're in your contact list, you can just hang up on them and then call the next one. If you want to talk to them all at the same time, then we're talking about a feature called Session View. So we can dive into that really quick. This will take 2 seconds. So if I go over to the Sessionwire app here and hover over the remote side while I'm in a call with somebody, so I'd be in a call with one of your students and I wanted to add the second or third, I click this button here, Generate Session View Link, and it creates a URL that I can send to anybody and they can drop in on this session from a web browser. The catch is you have to be in an active call with somebody before you can create this link at this moment. The other catch is that the performance of Session View is limited by the host computer's power. So, if you add 10 or 12 people, you might find that your computer efficiency goes down. So we're working on rebuilding that right now. It's a huge update coming. Keep your eyes peeled for that. No, can all log in at the same time? No, not at the moment. But that's what we're working on right now, is rebuilding this whole kind of connection scheme. So hopefully that answers your question, Bob. Scott, I'd love to control the transport of the destination. Both users are on Pro Tools and I can punch in the vocalist. Right. So at the moment, the reason we kind of promote recording on the remote side of the call is exactly for this reason. And we offer remote desktop control software that you can use alongside Sessionwire for that purpose. That way your artist is hearing everything in time, and you are as well, because it's being broadcast from their end. The 2-track that they're recording along with and their vocal track is coming in to your computer at the exact same time. If you were to stream them music and they were to sing along with it, they would hear it in time and they would be singing in time, and you're bringing their vocal only back to your computer. And by the time it gets back to your computer, it's behind the music you're hearing by however much time it takes for the signal to go from you to them and them to you. So we just can't get around that latency in the network. It's just it's physics, it's the speed of light. There are other services that have features that can do this, but it's janky. It costs a lot of money. It takes a lot of time to set up. We have a feature coming out that will kind of help facilitate that exact workflow. You'll only have to get them to use the Sessionwire app, no DAW. You can punch them in on your own timeline, but you're still going to have to nudge the audio forward to line it up. We're just going to try and make that process a lot easier. Scott, we can chat about that later if you want. Could you just create a new audio track to receive to save a send channel? So the thing about recording audio into a DAW, and there's only one DAW that will allow you to do this. I can't put the receive plugin on this track and then record the audio coming from the same plugin on that track, if that makes sense. Because the audio, if you think about like signal flow, it's audio, effects, fader, and outputs, right? So if we put the plugins after the audio, we can't get that audio coming from the plugin back into the audio at the top of that process in Ableton. Reaper is the only one that you can kind of do that with. It's actually really slick. There's a webinar coming up on Reaper in the next couple of weeks here. I mean, if somebody has a tip, in Ableton, please let me know. As far as I know, there's no way to do it. Other DAWs also allow you to put effects on inputs, so you can set up kind of a dummy input, like a microphone input, and put an effect on it, like the receive plugin, and then set the input of your audio track to that input. Still kind of you might as well do it this way. I prefer to see it kind of come in on a strip and then send that somewhere so I can see that whole flow. You could do 2 audio tracks. Yes, you could do 2 audio tracks. I prefer to kind of see, just because of the simplicity of these returns, there's no inputs on these returns. And you can, disable all of the sends. So I can disable all of these, C sends, enable all sends. I can disable the C sends across all of these channels and not have to worry about it. It's just like this one dummy return. So, Scott, so I don't mind doing the sing to stereo track way, but as long as I can, yeah, that's the remote desktop control. It's amazing. It's you know, you notice a little bit of the lag, but it's surprisingly snappy, you know, especially for punch-ins. It works pretty well. So we can chat about that. We offer a service for a little bit extra on top just to cover our overhead, but it makes things really simple for everybody on the call. Anybody have any more questions, please put them in the comment section. For anybody that's just joined us, my name is Brendan Lyons. We're doing a quick run through of Ableton and Sessionwire. This is an Ableton deep dive. We might do live streams for that somewhere down the road, but for now, we're just kind of getting set up with Ableton. And so far, we're sending audio out of Ableton and bringing audio back into Ableton via the Sessionwire plugins. I'm going to go over quickly how to do Talkback Routing, which, again, you don't need to use the Talkback plugins unless you have to. I have my microphone plugged into channel 1 of my audio interface, and in Sessionwire, I have my Talkback microphone set to my audio interface. So as long as you got a microphone plugged into channel 1, you can use that as a Talkback microphone. And I've got the speaker set to my audio interface as well. So I don't need a DAW to connect with anybody in Sessionwire and start speaking to them through the Talkback stream. The HQ audio stream is what is meant to broadcast DAW audio back and forth with the plugins. Hearing some clicks in the stream. I wonder if I do this. Let me know if that changed things. I've got quite a few kind of things going on here. So for this broadcast, I got to get me one of those new Mac Mini, the Mac Studio. Me too, clicks. Let me know if that changed, if that kind of fixed things. I just kind of readjusted my, hearing clicks. Interesting. Okay. Are they regular clicks or are they mouse clicks? Hopefully it's tolerable. This is the first time that that's happened on these streams, so I'll do some digging. Perfect. Better. Okay. Good. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Back into Ableton. We're going to send my Talkback microphone out to Sessionwire now. So this is in the case of, you know, not having a webcam with built-in microphones. This is a great option. $100 Canadian, you know, probably $70 US. Logitech C920. It's got a built-in microphone. We're going to set it up so that if I had a microphone plugged into, say, channel 13 of my audio interface, I'd be able to get it out to Sessionwire. So I'm going to create an audio track because it needs an input. I have to have an input for this. And I'm going to relabel this thing Sessionwire Talkback Send. So this is where I'm going to go into my plugins. I'm going to find the Sessionwire Talkback Send plugin, and I'm going to put it on this track. And it looks like this, similar to the other ones. I'm going to set the input to my microphone. So in this case, I have some internal routing in my interface. I'm going to choose channel 19, and I'm going to set the audio to sends only because I don't want to hear my voice coming out of my session. It can just go off into nowhere into the sends. It doesn't matter. And if I hit input, now I can see signals show up here and in the Talkback Send plugin. And if I go to the Sessionwire app and change the microphone to Sessionwire Talkback Send plugin, now Sessionwire is seeing Talkback audio coming from channel 19 in Ableton. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, buffer too low. It could have been buffer too low. Most often it's this Antelope audio interface that does things. Little sample rate misalignments, and I have to kind of reset it every once in a while. EQ and even more importantly, compressor for the Talkback would help cut through a busy performance mix. Absolutely it would. So that's another use case for this. You can bring your Talkback into Ableton, put some processing on it to get it over top of things, or, you know, if you got a noisy room, put a noise gate on it, that kind of thing. That being said, the more processing you're doing in your session while you're working, the more it affects the performance of the machine. And it's not that Sessionwire takes up a bunch of resources. It's just something to kind of keep in mind, you know, while you're working. So now we've got Talkback going out from Ableton to the Sessionwire app. when showing I can go a little slower for sure. They're always they're also at the beginning of the stream, and these streams will be available after the fact as well, so you can hit pause and check out the menus. We've got other videos on YouTube as well, so if I'm kind of blasting through really quick, I apologize. I can show you these again here. So this Talkback menu right here, I've selected the microphone as the Sessionwire Talkback Send plugin, which is on this channel right here, Sessionwire Talkback Send. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to bring Talkback audio in to Ableton from the remote side. So I'm going to create, and this is just the way that I prefer it. You can do it either way. You can create an audio track or a return track. I'm going to create a return track because I don't need an input on it to receive this Talkback. So I'm going to go Sessionwire Talkback Receive, and I'm going to put the Talkback Receive plugin here. Oops, I didn't grab it. Talkback Receive. There we go. Talkback Receive plugin is there, and I'm going to change the audio 2 to external out 1 and 2. So now if Dan was to talk, I'm going to unmute his microphone. Dan's talking. Oh, here we go. Built-in microphone. There we go. Dan's talking. And I'm going to change. Mute that for a second. I'm going to change the Talkback speaker of the Sessionwire app to the Sessionwire Talkback Receive plugin. So that's going to send incoming Talkback audio into Ableton through this plugin. And now if Dan talks again. Talk. Now that Talkback audio is showing up in Ableton on this track right here. And it's going straight out external 1 and 2. It's going straight out external 1 and 2, not touching the master fader that has the send plugin on it, because that would cause a feedback loop. So Ableton's routing is actually really great for this because you can just send things straight out hardware outputs without touching the master fader very easily. So there we go. I'm going to answer a couple more questions here. Neil says, I mean to have it in the Sessionwire app. Have which in the Sessionwire? Oh, compressor, yeah. So funnily enough, something that we're working on will help deal with that. I can't talk about it at the moment, but stay tuned. Typically, that's kind of what we design the Talkback Send and Receive plugins for, is to keep everything in the app simple. Anything that you want to do outside of streaming audio back and forth through Sessionwire, you can look after that in your DAW. It's much more powerful. You can use, greater plugins, cleaner plugins for that kind of thing. So just trying to keep Sessionwire simple. It's the workflows that are tricky. So you can, take that for what it's worth. Anybody else have any questions? Please put them in the comment thread. This stream will be wrapping up in about 5 minutes. These are meant to be just kind of short onboarding webinars. If you haven't yet, set up your free account at www.sessionwire.com and send me an email at support@sessionwire.com with the email address you've created the account with, and I'll send you a coupon for 20% off an annual subscription for a year. That will end at 11:59 p.m. PST tonight, March 23rd, 2022. It's just a kind of quick thank you for checking out the stream, and it'll give you a chance to check out Sessionwire for an extended period of time. We do offer a 7-day free trial when you sign up for the artist subscription. Just to reiterate, you don't need to be paying a subscription to be able to connect to another person in Sessionwire and talk to them through the Talkback stream and the video stream. You can do that regardless of your membership. Once you've upgraded to the artist membership, that's when you get the HQ audio stream, Automute, and all of that. There's also a file transfer system, and Ableton actually is the only DAW that you can grab a file from and drag it straight into Sessionwire to transfer it. So if I wanted to send, let's say, my kick-in microphone track, I just grab this, drag it onto the Sessionwire app, the remote side, whoever I'm connected with, let go, and it sends it to them. On the other end of the call, as soon as it's done transferring, they'll get a prompt asking them to save where they want to save that audio file to. So that's one of the cool things about Ableton, is that you can actually grab files from Ableton and drag them into Sessionwire to transfer them. Do you have a generic flow diagram that would apply to any DAW for send, return audio, send, return, talkback? Yes, we do. Support.sessionwire.com. Please go check it out. We have a ton of articles about Sessionwire. There's a section about DAWs and how to get set up. The signal flow diagrams are complex, let's say. The whole routing audio in and out, can get tricky depending on your workflow. If you have questions, use the chat bubble. Send me an email, support@sessionwire.com. More than happy to answer these questions. The important thing to remember is there are 2 audio streams, and there's a way to get audio in and out of each of those streams. And you use the plugins or any of the devices listed in these menus to do that. Again, this Talkback stream, this little microphone, try to set it up exactly like you would for any video communication software. So you're gonna set it up to devices that you can get audio into Sessionwire from and get it out from. There you go. Is there a video for UAD console? No, there isn't. That is something that we can do, and we probably will do. However, when you venture into the world of any routing software, for example, I've got routing software for my Antelope, the combinations of the software routing for your hardware device and the DAW becomes infinitely greater, and that strays from what we can do in terms of support for Sessionwire. I'm happy to help if I can, and it's brief, but if you're using virtual inputs and outputs and all kinds of complex routing in UAD console, that is kind of in the user domain, because it can be very complex. That's not to say that you can't reach out to us and ask us to help you out with a specific situation. Often we connect with people who have complex hardware routing, where they're using, real consoles in studios, and they're recording to tape, and they have Pro Tools running simultaneously, and all that kind of thing. We're happy to help with that. But in terms of actually diving into UAD console, it's probably best to check out UAD's support documentation for that. If you have a specific question about UAD console and working with Sessionwire, please put it in the comment section or send us an email, or reach out through our chat bubble, and I'll try to help you through it. But in terms of, doing tutorials on UAD console, that's not exactly our support domain. So hopefully that answered that question. I think that this is probably good for today. Thank you for joining us. Again, please head to www.sessionwire.com, sign up for a free account, download Sessionwire, have a look around. You can reach out to me, and we can do test calls if you would like as well, through the chatbot, support@sessionwire.com, if you need kind of help getting set up. Give us a like and a follow. There are weekly webinars like this happening Wednesdays at 10:30 a.m. PST. I will check my calendar. I think next week should be Reaper. Yes, next week the demonstration will be regarding Reaper. So this is great for Windows users as well. The same principles apply to Windows users. So please join me. Drop in the comments. Say hello. Always love seeing different faces coming in and out of the stream. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please join me next week, 10:30 a.m. PST on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll go through Reaper together. Thanks, everyone. Take care.